It was a boring job. Lock up, sweep, mop, go home. Elliot worked the night shift at Grayson's department store, a near-abandoned relic of a store that should have closed years ago. On his first night, his manager, Mrs. Brooks, gave him one warning. Don't go into the mannequin storage after hours. Elliot chuckled. Why? Afraid I'll steal one? She didn't laugh. Because they move when no one's watching. He smirked, but something in her tone stuck with him. A week later, while finishing his shift, Elliot noticed something strange. A mannequin in a red dress stood at the end of the aisle. He was sure it had been upstairs earlier. The mannequins weren't supposed to be moved unless for display rotations, and no one else was working that night. Then, out of the corner of his eye, he noticed something else. The storage room door was open. Mrs. Brooks always kept it locked. A chill crawled up his spine, but curiosity pushed him forward. He nudged the door wider and stepped inside. The back room was filled with rows of mannequins. Some were missing arms, others had cracked, blank faces. The dim lighting made their featureless heads cast strange, elongated shadows against the walls. Elliot exhaled sharply, shaking his head. This is ridiculous. Then, click. A faint sound. Plastic tapping against the floor. He spun around. Nothing had moved. The door slammed shut. His breath hitched. He rushed back, grabbed the handle, locked. A soft rustling came from behind him. His chest tightened as he turned. A mannequin had moved. It had been across the room before. Now it stood just a few feet away. Its head was tilted toward him. Elliot stepped back, heart hammering. His foot hit something. Another mannequin. Right behind him. He hadn't heard it move. The air felt thick, suffocating. Then, fingers twitched. A quiet scraping sound filled the space as plastic joints shifted. Elliot's breath came in short gasps. They were moving. More mannequins began to shift, their stiff hands reaching. Their heads snapped towards him in unison. He tried to scream, but something cold and plastic clamped over his mouth. Darkness swallowed him. The next morning, Mrs. Brooks found him just outside the storage room. He was shivering with fear. The door was unlocked. The mannequins were back in place, but something felt different. Mrs. Brooks sighed. I warned you.